What's up, guys? Josh Stover here. I had a question the other day about what kind of gear do I run to make my content, film and photograph and all of that stuff. So I want to make a quick video in response to that. Thank you so much for the question. Let's get into it. Number one, quality cameras. I'm kind of a camera buff now, like kind of a camera nerd. Like it started when I bought a wife for my camera because she thought she wanted to do photography, and then I ended up being the one getting into it because I like to do everything, you know. So number one, quality camera. This is a Sony A6500. It is a mirrorless camera made by Sony. As far as I think it's considered professional level, it's probably beginner level professional. It is not a full frame. It is a crop sensor on this camera, but it does work really well. It's actually the camera that you guys are, I've got two of them. You guys are watching me through one. I use one of these cameras for live streaming and doing recording at my desk here. And then this is kind of my run and gun camera that I use for doing everything else. If I need another camera, I can always pull that one out. But so I do have two of these. The lens you guys are watching is Sony's 10 through 18 millimeter. It's a pretty wide angle lens there. So we've got that one. I run a Sigma 16 millimeter on this one a lot. It is very good for doing filming. The main reason I like using it is a 1.4 aperture lens, meaning that it opens up really wide. I can get a lot of light in there, as well as like those really cool, like professional looking blurry shots with, you know, bokeh and all that. So these are the two main cameras that I use for doing a vast majority of my filming and photography. Also, an important side note, you can see that I have, I don't know if it's going to focus, small rig cages on all of these. There it goes. So I do have small rig cages on these for adding different attachments and also just protecting the camera itself. I recommend getting that on all of your stuff. Small rig is awesome. Like I said, you can put all these different holes all the way around the body. You can put all sorts of cool stuff on these things. So those are my two main cameras that I use. The next camera that I use the most, honestly, is my iPhone. I actually just upgraded here to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, whatever their big one is. I just got this one here recently. I was running an iPhone SE for the last 2 years. I didn't have the best camera, but it worked pretty well. All of this stuff I do use in parallel with Adobe Premiere Pro for video editing, and then Adobe Photoshop and or Adobe Lightroom for doing my editing on my photos. But I do use Adobe Suite for everything. Just because, you know, I'm a screen printer, I do a lot of design work, a lot of video, a lot of photo, I do lots of different things. So I do use all of that. That is all kind of professional level stuff, not required, but super cool to have because you can do some really neat stuff with that. So those are the main cameras that I use. In addition to those, I do run a GoPro occasionally. I went ahead and bought, actually, my brother and I bought us both of these because we always use GoPros all the time for like motorcycle rides and stuff that we used to do all the time. Anyway, GoPro Hero 10 Black is not really focusing, but so I do use that camera as well. Super awesome, waterproof. You can use it anywhere. The new ones are pretty sweet. The GoPro Hero 10 Blacks anyway. Pretty happy with that. I don't use it for a lot of things just because these cameras that I have over here are very high quality and put out really good quality content. So I use those for the vast majority of stuff. But I do have a GoPro I throw in occasionally. We bring out another couple of lenses. So I told you we've got a 10 to 18 millimeter on that one. We got 16 millimeter here. I do have a zoom lens. This is a 55 millimeter to 210. Thing grows. I use that occasionally, mostly for outdoor shots. You know, if I want to get zoomed in on something I'm far away, obviously that's kind of what this is for. Other than that, I don't use this lens a whole lot, but it is nice to have if I do need it. And then quick two more lenses. This is another Sigma. This is their 30 millimeter. It is a prime lens. Does really good video, pretty good photography. I do find that the Sony specific lenses are a little bit better for photographs. Not that these do really, really well. I'm just really nitpicky when it comes to photographs. But the Sigma 30mm, again, that's a 1.4 aperture. Another really good lens to have. And then my final lens is a 50mm prime Sony lens. I use this one when I'm doing like really high-end photo shoot stuff. This is just an awesome lens to have. You can't be in real tight with it. Being a 50mm, it's zoomed in pretty far. But as far as image quality, this guy probably takes the cake as far as the lenses that I have. And I think this one also it's another 1.8 aperture lens. So there's my lenses. I got about, what is that, 5 lenses that I run on both of these cameras. I would love to get more, but that's pretty cool. I do plan on getting a third body to have. That way I can have one that's set up direct specifically for you guys doing the live streams and things like that. One specifically for doing photography, and then another one that I can keep on some of my, I've got some Manfrotto tripods, some high-end tripods and stuff, and I'd like to have another camera specifically for the filming, doing videography and stuff. It'd be nice to have just one of each so I can just go and not have to switch out lenses, switch out bodies, switch out mounts, things like that. But all in good time, right? So those are the main cameras that I'm using. A couple other things that I do like to use. I do do some flash photography. These are Speedlight YN 560 version 4s. They are not super expensive, but they're good flashes. I've got the trigger here, you mount on top of your camera. I've got 2 of these flashes that I use. Flash photography is really neat. If you guys have some decent cameras and haven't done any flash photography, I highly recommend looking into it. You can do some really cool stuff with it. For wireless audio, I've got I've just got a set of the Rode Link lav mics wireless setup. Works really good. A transponder and a receiver there, as well as I got a couple different lav mics that you can hook onto those. Microphones that I use on top of my cameras. This guy is the Rode Video Micro. I actually probably use this guy the most just because it is a passive microphone, doesn't require any batteries. I just plug it in and it always works. Gets really good audio. I don't have any problems with it. So there's that guy. It's very affordable. And then I also have a Rode Video Mic Pro, I think is what this one is. It is their Video Mic Pro Plus. This guy is a powered microphone, so it does have a battery built in. Got a couple of settings you can run on top here. This does work really well. I always seem to leave the thing on and kill the battery, so that part is a little bit frustrating, but that's kind of my fault. But also an excellent microphone. You can use this just as like a podcasting microphone as well. It does really good audio. And then if I'm set up on a tripod, my camera's, the screens on the back don't flip around into selfie mode, so I do have an external monitor that I run. This is just a cheap one that I had gotten off of Amazon. I think it was like 90 bucks. It does have, I think it is 4K, but it's just nice to have that so I can make sure I'm in frame when I'm talking. I can see what's going on. Helps me, instead of having to walk in front of or back behind the camera all the time, I can just line it up in the front where I'm usually at anyway. So this is a very handy piece of equipment. Runs off of the Sony batteries on the back. And last couple of things, we got lots of different tripods. This is the Joby GorillaPod. You guys have all seen these. Peter McKinnon, Casey Neistat, everybody uses these things. Been around for a while, really handy to have. Again, some more video or small rig stuff. This is the handle I can mount on top of my camera. It gives me another mount up here, as well as all these other holes to mount different things. Those small rig cages are fantastic. Again, I highly recommend those. Other than that, I do have some other camera equipment that I do use. I do have a motorized slider for doing some fancy shots like that. Bunch of different lighting. Lighting's very critical. I think one of my favorite lights to use is this guy up here. It is an Aputure Lightstorm. It is just a LED light panel. Got a remote, so turn it off. You can see like what happens when I shut this thing off. When I turn it on, like what kind of difference it makes. So that thing is fancy. It is awesome. I got that used. A lot of the stuff I buy used, guys, secondhand. You can get really good deals on that kind of stuff. So that is basically the rundown of what I have and what I use. All of this is paired up with, I'm an Apple fanboy. Like, I'll just come out and say it. Right now, all this is run off of a Mac Mini, the Mac Mini with the M1 chip in it, super powerful, runs everything excellent. Again, I've got an Apple iPhone. My laptop, I've got the biggest laptop you can get. Actually, it was the last generation, but is their 16-inch. It's got it was before they come out with the Apple chip, so it does have the Intel i9 chip in it. Very good laptop, does everything I need, so I can video edit on the go. I can run all the different softwares I need to run. But basically, Apple products. We got a couple laptops, got a couple of desktops. I do have one PC desktop over here that I have to have because it runs the software for one of my vinyl cutters. But other than that, I'm pretty much all Mac based at this point, and I'm hoping to get everything over to Mac and just have one system just to keep it simple for myself. But anyway, that is the rundown of pretty much all the equipment I use, guys, for creating content, things like that. I hope you found it helpful, and all the stuff that I recommended or I have shown you today is all available used right now, so you don't have to pay full retail prices on it, which is a good way to get into this if you guys are interested. So thank you guys so much for the question. I thank you for checking this out, and see you later.